I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Justin. I'm a fourth year student at UCLA. In this quarter, I created a music production application to be used on iPads catered towards beginners, but can be used by all levels. I chose this because, in my opinion, most music production services now have a high barrier of entry, requiring extensive knowledge of the tool and do not provide a social aspect to creating beats. At a high level, my application will allow for the learning while creating beats and sharing these beats with other people, kind of like a social media for music production. Now I'll kind of move on to the process and methods that went into creating my application. Um, we first start out at doing some research on other music production services. Specifically, I looked into a web app called Splice Sounds and performed a heuristic analysis on it. From it, I found that I had many issues with regards to help and documentation and user control freedom. The website provided a tool to create beats, but did not explain well in how to actually use it, and it was solely single person focused. Along with this, I conducted usability testing with a novice participant in music production and trying to get them to do three simple tasks: creating a beat, modifying a beat, and saving the beat to see if they would agree with my heuristic testing. And basically, in short, this takeaway was that they did. He had a lot of trouble creating the beat. Some other things he mentioned was that the application felt busy, cheap, intimidating. And right here is kind of a screenshot of what Splice, the application, looks like. Next, the next step, I wanted to consult with a more experienced person with creating and producing music. And I wanted to kind of see what their workflow was like and pick their mind on what constitutes a good music production service. The takeaway I got from them was that the biggest concern for them was the cost of creating or the cost of using software like this. And in my case, my service would be free. And some other takeaways were that they use it for highly specialized services. For example, he specifically only focused on trap beats. Thus, I wanted my products to be able to cater towards this and reflect this. After user research, I was kind of ready to go into storytelling. This was the process of putting myself in the mind of a lot of different users of the product to make sure that I wasn't creating a product that is misaligned with the end users. Succinctly, I created two personas that are vastly different. One looking to just learn and create beats on the same service, and the other wanting to interact with other people. So more as a social platform, and music is just a, I guess, hobby. Music production is a hobby of his that he wants to work with others. Here I've attached two images of the stories that I've created, the backgrounds of these two users, allowing me to kind of understand what end users using my application would be like. If you want to see more about the stuff that go into this, I've included the link down here. Next, after doing all of this research before even creating the service, I think now we're ready to move into the actual design process of how I want the application to look like. I first started off with the rudimentary layout of how I envision my beat to be, as you can see in the screenshot right here, and the documentation of it can be found in the link here. After getting some feedback, I moved on to the second iteration, and using Figma, I created a low fidelity prototype, as we can see here. Attached in the image here, we can see the different design iterations I chose. For example, different fonts, colors, and shape before settling on the final one I was going to use. And then from this low fidelity prototype, we moved on to the high fidelity prototype, where I would kind of create the screens for every single interaction I wanted. And then also on Figma, creating like actual prototyping of creation of like what would happen when we clicked on a certain button. And in this case, I have two tasks fully prototyped out, and I'll be walking through both of them now. Just to preface before we move over, the two tasks I'll be working on will be the creation of a beat and saving of it. And then the second one will be the social aspect, like the sharing of beat and what it would look like if you were to share a beat. And these two tasks reflect our end users. So as we move on to here, this is what our application looks like. So if we were to come in, say we don't know what's going on, we'd want to kind of understand, okay, what do the drums do? Give you a little explanation on what the drums would do, and you're like, okay, I get it. We'll just do a quick walkthrough, nothing too extensive. So you click on this to place a beat there, and then say, oh, you thought the BPM was too high. Here you'd be able to type in like what you change it to, but for now it's just a click. It changes to 90. You would play it here, the beat would play out loud, you can pause it, and then from here, I'd say I didn't really like it. We clear out the beat, redo whatever we wanted to do, and then say we're finalized with our process and we're happy with what we do. We would save the beat here, we would save the beat here, and then we would enter some type of name here and then press save, and then it'll tell us where it's downloaded. Now moving on to the second task, say we just started with the empty sheet. We just directly want to share this with some other people. We go onto the share. We have two options. We could either share as a collaborative beat where other people can also work on it, or we share it as finished. In this case, I decided to prototype the finished side. So we clicked on finished here, and then it'll show the screen of what it looked like for when you share your beat as finalized. Like people on the right will be able to comment on it, other people see it. And then down here will show like the amount of times other people have played your beat, the comments you've had. And then down here, we can see the buttons change a little bit. We'll have a link out where you can share it with people, and then say you want to go back to the home page, and then you'd press it, and then it'd take you back to the main page. Now going back, kind of talking about the process, I guess here evaluation and revision history is just like stuff that feedback I got in order to kind of work through different iterations. And in conclusion, this was my first ever exposure to the process of a UI UX research, and it was really eye-opening, a great learning process. Coming in, I kind of assumed that the process of creating applications was just kind of like directly creating the design and then going through multiple iterations of this. I didn't know all of the background that had to go into the end of it. And although like I'm not going to be, I guess, working in the UI UX space, I think a lot of takeaways have a lot of parallels into the career I'm going into. When I'm building products, I know I have to make sure to like have it fail safely, make it intuitive to use, and try to make it as streamlined as possible. Thank you.